Good morning and welcome to the New York Stock Exchange. On this exciting day, we are celebrating Con Edison. Today, they're going to be ringing the opening bell, celebrating 200 years. And this is a pretty historic company. And I have the best person co-hosting with me to talk about all of the history, the head archivist here at the New York Stock Exchange, Pete Ash. Pete, good morning.
Good morning. I mean, this is historic in so many ways. First company ever listed 200 years on the New York Stock Exchange, 200-year company. I mean, when this company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, it wasn't that we weren't in this building. We didn't even have a bell yet.
Oh my God. Wow. So, I mean, you're going to have all the little factoids to share with our viewers from all around the world. When Con Edison rings that opening bell, something like 100 million people could be watching from all around the world, giving investors the opportunity to take part in the next endeavor of their journey. And actually, just right behind us, we have the plasma up, and it has really cool pictures just to show you the sort of history behind Con Edison. I mean, you helped prepare all this, right? Right, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, this was an easy one. This is a fun one. 200 years of listing. When they listed here, and they originally listed here not as Con Ed, the Con or the Consolidated, they originally listed here just one of the companies, the New York Gas Light Company. And if you think about what's going on here in New York at the time, they were just for the first time putting in utilities, making this a modern living space, allowing light, allowing productivity and comfort. If you think about I always like to talk about this. We're in the New York Stock Exchange building. This was the first air conditioned room in North America. The air conditioner was in Inventor's Room. I always like to talk about the economic impact of the air conditioner, but think about lights, the ability to work when it's dark.
All the electricity and everything, and they provide power to some 10 million people in New York alone. I mean, that is amazing. And just like what we do here at the New York Stock Exchange, making lives better every single day, and they've really been a part of that journey. And they've been listening with us for, to help tell that story.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 231 years old.
Yes.
We're turning 231 in May, so mark the date for that anniversary. But really, if you think about it, what was happening down here at the corner wall in Broad, we trace our founding to the founding of the country, right across the street from where we are today.
Yep.
It's where George Washington was sworn in, it's where Congress met. It's where a gentleman, Alexander Hamilton, had a little idea to start an economy.
Yes.
It worked out for him.
Exactly.
And if you think about just 30 or so years after that, you have the utilities here working together, and that idea of bringing together all these disparate little startups into one company, and founded in March, and then listing here shortly after and trading consecutively since then.
And actually, speaking of being listed here, let's take a look right now. I mean, we are looking at the stock certificate. Oh, we just missed it. But I mean, that was one of the original documents that we are showing. And actually, I think that the executive team right now with Con Ed is walking to the floor right now. I like to call it like a maze of technology that they're going to be walking through as they approach the book signing.
Yeah, normally we talk about it being the pipes of the ecosystem, and these guys would know exactly what that's all about.
Yes.
But we're going to see them go in here, and this is one of my favorite traditions that we have here, and we've had a lot over 200 years.
Yes.
230 years for us, 200 years of Con Ed. You're going to see them sign the Distinguished Guest Book. And that guest book has all the bell ringers sign it. So we're going to see a little bit of that over time. And we're going to go and watch that right now.
So as you can see right now, this is the executive team from Con Edison. They're going to be etching their name into the distinguished guest book, and this is hugely monumental because throughout the years we have had hundreds of thought leaders, entrepreneurs, business people, even celebrities. We had Serena Williams here not too long ago, signing their names in this distinguished guest book. So, this is hugely significant to be able to do that.
And in 1998, Con Ed brought their Thomas Edison impersonator to also sign the book as well.
See? So, this is just an amazing story that we're telling here today. I'm so glad that you're co-hosting with me to talk about all of the historic factoids because, you've been a part of this journey as well.
Definitely. And one of the things, whenever we're talking with New York Stock Exchange, one of the things we always like to talk about is all the people that have been impacted by that.
Absolutely.
And you think about a company like Con Ed, the hundreds of thousands of people who have worked, the families. One of the fascinating things when we were getting ready for this is, obviously we dove into the archives over the history, but we also talked to our colleagues. And, whether Lynn Martin's first internship being with Con Ed or my mother worked for Con Ed for 25 years, there's a lot of familiar connections between the New York Stock Exchange and this utility that's kept the lights on here.
No, absolutely. They keep the lights on in my house, that's for sure. But again, we're going to narrate sort of what's going to take place today. So after the distinguished guest book signing, they're going to make their way up to the Bell Podium, I like to say, through the secret staircase just right behind the plasma here. And then after that, they're going to sign their name sort of in a graffiti-like manner on the wall that we have back there. Let's talk about the significance in that, Pete.
Yeah, so, we've had the distinguished guest book, and that goes back, a couple of decades. The wall is a little bit newer, and really what it is everyone on the Bell Podium gets to sign it. And that's one of the things you're going to hear kind of the themes is that it's not just about the CEO, the bell ringer, the people running the company. It's about every single person that helps that in this case, keep the lights on across the tri-state area, but also that's made today possible.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's watching, this is an active trading floor right now. As we start seeing, everybody right behind us is getting situated, taking selfies. Everybody is going to be watching Con Ed and the executive team ring that opening bell. And like I said, anywhere between millions of people from around the world are going to be watching Con Edison ring that opening bell. But at times you might see some traders zipping past us because, around $30 trillion can exchange hands at any given moment, depending on the day, of course. But we have that DMM, designated market maker, that sets us apart from any other exchange in the world because we do have that human capital here on the floor. Let's tell people.
Yeah, I think to set the scale, if you think about it, when Con Ed listed here 200 years ago, we had about 30 listed companies. Today we have 2,400 listed companies. So, the economies of scale have really increased significantly.
And that's Lynn Martin right there. She is the president of the New York Stock Exchange, and she's sort of facilitating everybody to get their photo opportunities here in front of the plasma as we see the rest of the team preparing to ring that opening bell. We're going to take a look at a company video right now, and then we'll meet you guys back on the floor.
Yeah, we're going to let them go. Get up on that Bell Podium.
New York is home to all of us. Are you ready to see its energy future from a new perspective? Con Edison is committed to providing 100% clean, renewable energy to our customers. From investments in solar, wind, and energy efficiency, to a modernized and reliable electric grid. Together, we're building the clean energy future.
All right, we're back. We got pushed out of the way for a little bit, but now we're back in our normal spot.
See, it's always something going on the trading floor. Again, it's an active trading floor. If we're not getting pushed out of the way by, traders running around making orders, putting in all those overnight orders, and it's something, right? But
I've been pushed away by far less people than the president of the New York Stock Exchange. So we're about 5 minutes out, and so I think we should kind of set the scene of what's going to happen.
Okay.
We're going to see your leadership team walk up onto that Bell Podium. They're going to be ringing that opening bell, that 10-second countdown, and going back to what you were saying, as that bell rings, it really opens the trading for the day.
Yes.
It allows all those 24 listed companies to start trading, and it also allows our market model to really do what it does best.
But it also, all eyes are going to be on Con Edison again, giving investors the opportunity to really take part in the journey of the next 200 years, right? And like I said, something like 100 million people could be watching at any given moment from all around the world, and it's like a movie set. And just a few moments, we're going to actually hear the crowd behind us just really getting revved up, getting excited. That's going to be our job. And Lynn Martin, she's great at doing this. She makes sure that there's not going to be one person in that audience that's not going to be cheering. And CNBC said, if you just take a look, is right behind the crowd of people. So we always like to disrupt their morning show a little bit because of all the excitement happening here on the trading floor. So, that's always something fun to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely, and that's really part of, and obviously it's fun and it's
Yes.
exciting, but it also is part of what we do here.
Yeah.
Provide a platform for listed companies, whether it's an IPO or whether it's a company celebrating 200 years of trading here.
Yep.
Reminding everyone that their story's continuing. Which started with laying pipes to run gas lights at each company and each business, to now bringing clean energy, the future of energy. Continuing that electronification process
Yep.
that they began over 150 years ago or so with the Edison Illuminating Company. That became part of the Edison in Con Ed.
Exactly. And again, that's something that we do here at the New York Stock Exchange that is unlike any other institution, because we have that designated market maker, your DMM, who stands next to your stock for the days, years, decades ahead, like Con Edison. Of course, the DMM has probably switched out a time or two, throughout that 200-year time span. But again, that is what you get here at the New York Stock Exchange. And like Pete was saying, it doesn't just end here. We invite our listed companies back to host investor days, milestone celebrations, whatever it may be. We love to be a part of that journey and help bring that story to life.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, Con Ed was here with part of the celebrating St. Patrick's Day and
Yep.
Irish heritage, and it's really an opportunity to partner with particularly a New York-based organization like Con Ed to continue to connect with their community, our community, and help them push their mission forward.
And speaking of connecting with the community, I know that we've done a lot of research, right? But this is your area of expertise, the history of Con Edison. What was the best thing or most interesting thing that you found out about the company?
There's just so much. I just the concept of a company trading every day for 200 years is fascinating. Just to give you a sense, 2,400 listed companies. Less than 100 listed over 100 years, less than 3 listed over 150 years, and only one has ever reached that 200-year mark.
Yep.
That's fascinating by itself, but also this idea of constantly innovating, right?
Yep.
You start as a gas light company, and then can merge with other gas companies, electricity with the Edison company, nuclear power for a time, and continue to find new ways to innovate and make sure that what they do at the core is best price, best ability, and provide that for their customers.
Absolutely. And again, we're just honored to be a part of the journey. And this is just, speaking to the longstanding relationship that we have with our listed companies in Con Edison. They are our longest listed company, one of the oldest listed companies. And so...
yeah, a couple a little bit older, but they've
yes,
not been with us as long.
Yeah, that's true. But again, as you see, look, dozens of Con Edison's teammates, colleagues, maybe even some family members.
I'm seeing a few hard hats out there.
Yes. People from the facilities are here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, which is a big deal because the exchange is not open to the public. Only our listed companies and guests of the New York Stock Exchange are welcome to be on the floor. So to witness this opening bell moment, it's hugely exciting.
Definitely, and we're less than we're less than 30 seconds away from everyone starting to get loud. So if people start getting loud, you can't hear us anymore. We'll let the audience take over.
Yes.
And then there's that 10 seconds ringing a bell, and then we'll cover some of that opening. And then after that, just to give you a sense of what's coming next, we're going to get some of those people off the bell podium. We're going to talk to them and find out what it was like to be up there after 200 years.
Absolutely. Now we're at about 13 seconds. So 2 seconds. Watch. We're going to start hearing all the cheers. Let's hear. I think any second now. Any second. Let's listen in. gosh, everybody is extremely excited. We worked him a little bit.
We definitely caught into CNBC today.
No, but again, like now the U.S. equity markets are open. The executive team right now is taking a picture to honor this moment. We got to pose for the picture. I mean, I think that's a first. Being on air while we had to capture that moment. But again, it's such an exciting day, celebrating 200 years of Con Edison, and the company couldn't have gotten to this point if it wasn't for all of the dedicated hard work of the employees, colleagues, investors, and us to be a part of it as well. It's exciting.
And generations. I mean, that's the thing that sticks to me. It's these generations handing it's so hard to hand a company off for one generation, let alone for 200 years of handing off the next generation, bring innovation, not being happy just to sit back and keep doing what you've been doing. That's really an amazing story.
It is an amazing story. And to commemorate the moment, the executive team right now is making their way down the secret staircase. As I mentioned earlier, they're going to etch their name on the wall, again, next to dozens of thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and celebrities who have passed through these doors, who have rang that opening bell. And again, they're etching their name on that wall, and now they are a part of history.
Yeah, and to be clear, none of them with a 200-year history like Con Ed. But while we're waiting for them to sign that, I think we have a video for everyone back home to watch, and we're going to try to talk to some of them and find out what it was like.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a few moments, but first I want to talk about, again, now that the U.S. equity markets are open, it looks like there's a lot of green on the board, so that is a good sign. Again, this is an active trading floor. Around $30 trillion of capital could exchange hands at any given moment. Of course, it depends on the day, but we are the largest stock exchange in the world, and I think it's really important to note that because not a lot of people know exactly what happens behind the scenes, and we're giving you a little preview of that. So again, look, the executive team is making their way down. We're about a few seconds out from looking at a company video, and then we're going to meet them back down here. We're going to conduct a few interviews with the executive team.
Open for business. Con Edison is tripling investments in energy efficiency programs, delivering modern heating, cooling, and lighting solutions with clean, reliable energy for all of us.
I am joined now with Jan Childress. You are the Director of Investor Relations. I mean, what an exciting day, Jan.
Oh, this is great. I mean, this is home for us. This is the New York Stock Exchange. We incorporated 200 years ago and immediately listed here on the New York Stock Exchange. If you look around at my coworkers who are here, a lot of them took the subways. This is home.
From a financial standpoint, where do you see Con Edison in the next 12 to 24 months?
Next 12 to 24 months, we are going to be focused on the clean energy transition. We had done, back in 2019, we had completed a climate change vulnerability study. We followed that up with a plan. We are now implementing that plan while we are preparing for climate change, the impact of climate change. We are also investing heavily to mitigate climate change. Think about Kennedy Airport, and all of your viewers, I imagine, have flown into Kennedy Airport. They're in the midst of a modernization in which they're going to largely electrify the airport. That's going to mean a big investment for us to accommodate that new load.
And speaking of investment, again, like you're at the New York Stock Exchange, the epicenter of global financial markets. What would you like to tell investors?
200 years, we're the longest continuously listed company on the stock exchange. This is a celebration for both of us, the stock exchange and Con Edison.
And what are you most looking forward to come the future?
The future, a clean New York, a clean planet. When you think about Con Edison, think about people, planet, profits. We take all three very, very seriously. We are going to help the state of New York transition to a clean economy, and while we do it, we are going to continue to focus on safety and reliability. We're going to continue to focus on our employees, and we're going to continue to focus on our shareholders.
A lot of great things ahead.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jen. Again, congratulations, and I will let you get back to the celebration.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here with Deneen Donnelly, General Counsel for Con Ed. I mean, let's start off with an easy one. What was it like being up there to ring the opening bell and being here today?
So I was actually down here, but it was incredibly exciting. So 200 years is an incredible first-time event, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
We were talking a little bit before opening bell about the transitions that happen over 200 years. What is Con Ed doing to transition to clean energy today?
So we are helping customers with EVs. We are helping them transition their homes and their businesses to electric service. We are also creating connections that will allow for the clean energy future going forward.
You know, one of the conversations we're having with all the companies come here to the New York Stock Exchange is the role of diversity, equity, and inclusion. How is Con Ed tackling those topics, incredibly important topics?
So I'll start by saying tone from the top. Right, so we have a board that is supportive, a CEO who makes this a priority. We have a strategy that was developed in 2015 that we can all get behind. And then 2020, we added action items that are data-driven, plus cultural items to move us forward. We have accountability, and we have support through leadership.
And Con Ed's not happy just making things good in their own house. You've been active on the NYSE advisory board.
Yes.
How is the board helping to advance that, not just for Con Ed, but across all public companies?
So it's wonderful. So the advisory board brings diverse candidates, introduces them to various companies where they could serve as board members, but also does a lot of work to expose candidates to, I'd say, board readiness concepts. So the last meeting I attended was on shareholder activism, one of the best events that I have attended. It's really good.
Well, and the other thing is, we're broadcasting out to the public. There are thousands of your colleagues, people who've worked for Con Ed, families who've been helped by the company. What are any final thoughts you want to leave the audience with?
It is such an honor to be part of Con Ed and to have brought New York to where it is now and to bring New York forward in the future, and we're very lucky to be part of it.
And we've been so lucky to have a 200-year partnership with Con Ed. We're going to switch to a hit video, and then we'll be back to talk to some more of your colleagues and people running the company today.
Con Edison is installing 400,000 electric vehicle charging ports in New York by 2035, making EV ownership more accessible and inspiring drivers of every generation. Fewer gas emissions, cleaner air, it's a vibe.
I am joined now with Jen Hensley. You are the Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs. I mean, how are you feeling on this exciting day?
No, it's very exciting. You don't turn 200 every day, and Con Edison is really proud to be part of the history of the New York Stock Exchange, even prouder to be part of the history of New York City.
Why is Con Edison so important to the growth of New York City?
We power the economy here. We are fundamental to every business, every resident in New York and the surrounding area. We're bringing you your energy, your electricity, and making sure that you have what you need to go about your business.
And what are you most looking forward to this year?
We have a lot of exciting things happening, but really it's about celebrating with the great people of Con Edison and making sure that we're prepared to bring the clean energy transition to the future of New York.
Tell me about the significance being here at the New York Stock Exchange celebrating 200 years.
It's a really exciting day. It's really, like I said, we're really part of the fabric of the city, and being able to celebrate both the rich history but also what's to come has been really just thrilling.
Amazing. And, what would be your message to everyone who's watching who have helped the company get to this point?
It's the people of Con Edison have kept New York going for 2 centuries, and I think we have the ingenuity and the fortitude to see the city through the next 200 years, and we're just very committed to continuing to deliver power to New York.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to the celebration with you and your team, and congratulations again.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
All right, I'm back, and I'm with Dwight A. McBride, who's on the Con Ed board. So first, simple question. What's it like to be down here celebrating 200 years of history?
It's pretty amazing. As I was saying to a colleague earlier this morning, even for the most hardened and cynical New Yorker, being here and feeling the energy of this place is pretty spectacular and historic, and being here with Con Ed in this moment has been amazing. The energy's been great.
And you talk about New York institutions, obviously NYSE is one of them, but Con Ed is as well. What does 200 years mean, this milestone mean for the company?
Well, the relationship between Con Ed and New York is one that's undeniable. I mean, New York City doesn't work without Con Ed, and Con Ed certainly doesn't work without the city of New York. And so that synergy has been such an important part of the history of the company. And it's also one of the things that I think drives the people who work at the 14,000 employees who come to work every day to make sure that not only do we keep the lights on, but that we're also thinking about the new innovations that are going to be necessary for the clean energy future. So it's an exciting time, actually, to be doing this work. A scary time in some ways when you think about the effects and impacts of climate change, but to be involved with a company that's actually working towards solutions in that space, it's a really exciting moment, I think, for all of us.
Well, and one of the things we deal with something like a climate change problem is to have a diversity of thought. And one of the things Con Ed's board has been is increasing diversity. A third of the board is female, a third minority candidates, 8% identifies LGBTQ.
I think I'm the 8%.
Well, how are we how does that improving diversity, and what does improving diversity in the boardroom do for the rest of the company?
No, I think it's been extremely important. One of the things that as I look not only at the boardroom, but across the company at Con Ed, and I implore anyone who's interested in the company to take a look, really the diversity at Con Ed goes all the way down through the company. I mean, it starts in the boardroom, but everywhere you look, there's diverse talent, people who are coming from different spaces, bringing their talent, bringing their energy, bringing their innovation to the space. And I think that really is one of the keys and hallmarks of success in a much more increasingly diversifying world, right, and country that we're living in, is to make sure that we have a variety of perspectives that represent the people who make up our society, who make up this great city. And that's one of the things Con Ed's been very intentional about. It takes vision, takes intentionality, and it takes accountability. And the company's been thoughtful about all of those in really important ways. And we see that in the boardroom too.
And if you got 200 years, not only are you bringing in new employees all the time, you're also bringing in generations of employees. You're an educator, you work with young people looking to enter the workforce. How does that focus on making sure diversity, making sure that the company looks like the city it operates in? How does that help attract young and new talent?
Well, it's one of the things that I think is important when you look at how young people are assessing even where they go to schools these days. One of the big things that they're looking at, they want to be at institutions that are diverse. They want to be at institutions increasingly that are concerned about major issues like climate change, where they can learn how to make a difference in the world. They understand, I think, and have a sense of urgency about these big issues that's different than even my generation. And that's one of the things that buoys my hopes for the future, is that you have this exciting generation of young people for whom things like diversity and inclusion and concern about climate, those are just a part of who they are, right? It's a part of their DNA, and that's really exciting too.
Well, thank you so much to have you on today. For everyone back home, we're going to take a quick whip around the floor, see what else is happening here on our very exciting trading floor this morning.
Well, I mean, what an exciting day here on the floor. I mean, we spoke to the executive team, and I mean, they really had some great insight about the whole history being listed with us for, one of our longest listed companies.
The longest listed companies, and
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like we have a 200-year-old company here. It feels
No.
like a very young, exciting company.
Yes. It was definitely an exciting day, and we were just so happy that everybody tuned in and that we got to be a part of this moment.
So, as always, everyone back home, tune in next time for our next webcast. We're going to go hang out with this 200 party and, enjoy
We're gonna go
the rest of the
celebrate
day.
with them. Bye, guys.